Welcome back to Cowabunga Corner, and in this episode we are talking about the Archie Ninja Turtle comics that came out in 1989. These comic books were based off of the original cartoon series at first. So the first 4 issues picks up things that we have seen on TV back in 1988 and 89 already, to where we got the Mousers, we got Shredder, we got Krang, and Bebop and Rocksteady. Though this comic series gives itself its own twist, starting in issue 5, some of the Mirage guys got to take over. And when they took over, the comic really started doing its own thing. They brought in a bunch of their own characters. We started off with Man Ray in issue 5, and then in issue 6 we got Leatherhead. And number 7, we get the Turtles going to another universe and being given wrestling costumes. Now, the only turtle really affected for a good bit of the comic afterwards is Raph, as he likes his costume so much he keeps it. It's an all-black uniform. I got into the Archie comics back when my mom and dad got me my very first comic book. This comic is very well loved. The cover's ripped off, the page is torn. This is a comic that was carried around to school. It was carried around in the backyard playing with friends. This is a comic book of a child who loved the Archie comics. After that, I started to collect these comics. By the time I got into the Mirage comics, they were already into issue 30. So the comics were different each month, with a different artist, different storyline. It wasn't holding me. But the Archie comics, every month there was something. Every time I turned around, they had a new character. And I loved it. I loved the suspense. I loved the artwork. Chris Ellen and Ryan Brown are 2 of my favorite Ninja Turtle artists. They did such a fantastic job on these comics. I mean, we get a lot of the Mirage guys. You see work by Jim Lawson, even color work by Mark Bodie. There is a big hand in Mirage Studios inside these comic books. Now, a lot of people are thinking, wasn't the Archie comics for the kids? No. These comics were for anyone. I know people who, after the comic books were off the shelves and it was already done, coming to me going, why do you like the Archie so much? What held you to the Archie? That's the kiddie comics. But the fact of the matter is, they had such a strong storyline and did some of the most daring things inside this story that there's no way I could see it as just a kid's comic. There was underlined messages, there was jokes that adults would get that kids would not get. It was a whole new series when I read it after growing up. When female characters are introduced for romance, I'm normally the first person to turn my back and go to the next storyline. Though there was a character introduced, and at first I did not realize this was going to be a romance interest, and it grew into an actual really good story. And that character is Ninjara. A ninja who came into the storyline against the Turtles and ended up joining their group. She didn't just join their group, she got into a relationship with Raphael. Now, at first, I was probably the biggest skeptic there was about the idea of this fox being with Raph. I mean, she was a bad guy. She's got a very sharp tongue. She's got a very witty personality. And one of the things that really made me question if she was truly going good was inside this issue right here. This is issue 31. And in this issue, Raph has this big fight with Ninjara, as him and Ninjara are off away from everybody. And during the fight, the person Raph was fighting turns around and turns Raph's words on him because Raph asked why they attacked them. When the guy replies, "It was you who attacked us. We came seeking," and as he's passing out from Raph's attack, "your help." Raph's, "Oops, shoot, he passed out." Ninjara's reply to this is, "His lost, your gain." Does that sound like a good guy to you? Does that sound like somebody who's going to turn around and be of real help when it comes to these heroes? This girl, to me, I thought she was going to betray them. And then as the comics went on and I saw their relationship grow, and I heard the future Raph talk to young Raph about Ninjara, I found myself really loving that storyline. It was great. It's the best relationship I've seen in all of Ninja Turtle universes. This relationship here has a beginning, middle, and an end. So a lot of people are saying, okay, we got all these new characters, we got a relationship even, we got, oh, a bunch of things going on here and there, but what about characters that you guys love and know from the series? Yes, the Shredder is still inside these comic books. He's still the big foe that shows up from time to time to try and take out the Turtles and Splinter. Yes, Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady all make appearances throughout the Ninja Turtles Archie books. They're not the main villains all the time, but they are there. One of my favorite storylines happens to be where Donatello finds out that he can talk to the Sons of Silence. I do enjoy their alien touch in here and what they do with Area 51. They have a wonderful background story for all the characters. They got areas where each of the characters ends up going, and this just happens to be one of my favorite story arcs because they knew what they were doing. I like the Future Turtles too. Just about everything with the Archie comics was worth getting into. I can go on for hours about the Archie comic books. I really can, because there's so many different storylines, so many wonderful things. In fact, there's so much that I want to talk about that I'm not even showing my favorite issue inside this blog. I'm saving it for a blog all in itself. The way they wrote it and handled it was so great that I can do a full blog off of that issue. And if anyone wants a sneak preview of that, it's issue 59. Find it and read it. Yes, I have read all of Mirage. I've read all of Image. I've even read the Dreamwave comic. I've read it all. And out of all the comics, when they were being published, the one that had me waiting on the edge of my seat for the next one to come out was the Archie comics. I love the Mirage comics to where I've got them all. My favorite comic of all time is going to remain as the #1 from Mirage Volume 1. But if I'm to say my favorite storyline through a solid comic, it goes to Archie. So what's your favorite? Have you read the Archie comics? What do you think of the Mighty Meanimals? What do you think of April O'Neil with a sword? Her dragon boyfriend, Wolf, who took Ninjara away from Raph? Or the dog that fights April? What is your favorite issue? What do you think of the Future Turtles? The Sons of Silence? Noel. Mr. Noel is like, wow, one of the main villains inside this comic. What is your opinion? That's what I want to know. I know I've talked a lot. I share a lot of my opinions, but one of the reasons I share them is because I would like to see more from other fans.